To go ahead and get this out of the way, yes, this is an updated version of an existing video. No, it's not just the same video. And yes, Chuck Mangione is a real person, though his fictional version ain't doing too good.
My husband is in there. He had to take this job because nobody else would hire him.
We're doing everything we can, Mrs. Mangione.
Hey folks, welcome to Squirrel Tactics. Don't forget to hit like and subscribe if you haven't already. Check out our Patreon and merch store, and yeah, let's just do this thing. Charles Frank Mangione, better known as Chuck Mangione, the real-life version is a flugelhorn player and composer who had a hit in 1978 with the song Feel So Good, reaching the number 4 spot, and fun fact, this is also Hank and Peggy's song.
He actually drank a whole bottle of champagne out of one of my pumps. My charcoal pads filtered out most of the alcohol, but he still got tipsy enough to sing a Chuck Mangione song. Do-do-do, do-do-do-do. That one? It is our song.
It should be noted that in 1980 he had another hit song, it reached number 18, with Give It All You Got. In addition to his work on King of the Hill, Chuck also appeared in an episode of Magnum P.I.
But I think that lady's had more than her share of trouble. As long as I'm around, I'm gonna make sure nobody bothers her.
Great. Well, maybe you better explain that to the guys who did this. That is, if you see them before they get to her.
As well as playing Little Boy Blues, you know, the nursery rhyme Little Boy Blue, Come Blow Your Horn, on Sharon, Lois, and Bram's Elephant Show.
Well, my name is Little Boy Blues.
Well, Mr. Blues, can you tell us something of your experience? Where you go, what you do, what your gig is?
I take care of the cows and the sheeps, and I keep the cows and the sheeps from eating the corns.
Like, totally amazing!
Many of you remember that show from either the elephants balancing on spider webs or the Skidamarinky Dinky Dink song from their closing credits.
Skidamarinky Dinky Dink, Skidamarinky Doo, I love you.
And if you're a horror fan, yes, that's where the title for the movie Skidamarink came from. The creator grew up watching the show. Anywho, fictional Chuck started out as a stand-in for celebrities becoming spokesmen for brands and allowing their names to be slapped on pretty much whatever, kind of like the show's version of a musical Troy McClure.
Hi, I'm Troy McClure. You may remember me from such educational films as 2 - 3 = -fun and Firecrackers, the Silent Killer.
We see this for the first time in Lanns Saga, where Luann and Peggy are working out to a Chuck Mangione aerobics tape, which I suppose is pretty much in the same vein as Sweatin' to the Oldies.
Just 2 more, come on.
Okay, 5 more.
Okay, 5 more.
Hey, you said 2.
You can't predict this tape. I've done it enough to know.
Bobby ends up joining them because of course he does, which does not make for a happy Hank.
Hi, Uncle Hank.
Shut that off. Bobby, stop dancing now.
He is not just dancing. He's firming his thighs and tightening his buttocks.
Watch your mouth.
And Peggy the Boggle Champ, while Peggy's away at a boggle tournament and the guys are at a mower show.
Man, this dang old piece of crap dang old blocked up. Get the grass out there. I ain't got no fingers!
Luann rents a few videos from Blockbuster, one being Risky Business, the other being a Chuck Mangione fire safety video.
I also got a fire safety video starring Chuck Mangione. Wanna watch?
No, thanks. I'm kind of in the middle of doing laundry.
Okay, but remember, Chuck says always unplug your iron after use.
Thanks for the tip.
Not sure why she'd rent a fire safety video, nor why she would want to watch it more than once, but it's apparently entertaining enough for Bobby, or maybe I should say watching it makes Bobby feel so good.
So take it from me, Chuck Mangione. Unplugging the iron feels so good. Can you dig it?
But of all of Chuck's sponsorships and side gigs, the one he's best known for, and that takes up most of his time, is the show stand-in for Wally World Megalomart.
At Megalomart, you're shopping for the rest of your life.
We see a few of his commercials, like the one in Lanns Saga where he pitches 12 5-pound bags of gourmet chocolate for $10. That's 60 pounds of gourmet chocolate for $10. That is ridiculously cheap, even for 1997.
How you doing out there? I'm Chuck Mangione. You know, even celebrities have to hunt for bargains. That's why I go to the Megalomart, where shopping feels so good. This week, 12 5-pound bags of gourmet chocolates for $10.
That's Buckley's section.
It's also his ad that informs the Hills of Megalomart starting to carry propane and propane accessories, as well as hawking some mulch and propane boom.
And now Megalomart has propane and propane accessories at Megalo prices, and it feels so good.
Propane at Megalomart?
Bobby, leave the room.
You bastards!
And this is the episode that changes Chuck's life forever, the fictional version at least.
I don't feel so good.
Because Chuck holds a concert at the Arlen Megalomart. And keep in mind that we have only seen him on TV screens up to that point, so it's not like we see him out and about in the town like we do in later seasons.
There's got to be a morning after, if we can hold on through the night.
As far as what we see, his residency in Arlen starts with this episode. Hank, who at the moment was working at Megalomart because they ran Buck out of town with their propane prices, is given the task of putting out flyers for the concert as well as being in charge of stocking Chuck's dressing room. And by dressing room, I mean a vanity in the furniture department with what Chuck apparently enjoys.
Buckley, what the hell are you doing? You never ever want to put stress on the valve. You'll cause a gas leak.
Hey, where were you? You're supposed to set up Chuck Mangione's dressing room with sliced pears and 2% cottage cheese. Or did you forget that too, Hank?
One, Hank put out a nice little presentation there. Good job. He doesn't look like Chuck even touched it though. And B, because I know you're all wondering, yes, Cabot does make some damn good cottage cheese.
Boy, that cheese.
Also, that whole Buckley dragging a propane tank by its valve thing that Hank clearly warned him about, yeah, well, that just boomerangs itself right back around when doing so ends up causing an explosion that destroys the Megalomart during Chuck's performance and kills off Buckley.
Hey, man, it's 911. I ain't here, little Megalomart, man. It go, boom, man, there's a fire, and it don't, that come out everywhere, man. I don't know, saw man run out there. I don't know if Chuck Mangione gonna be coming down here.
Sir, you are going to have to speak more slowly. I cannot understand you.
Dang old Megalomart had talked about them all. Done it, boom!
And it's at this point where Chuck starts his downward spiral. He's rescued at the scene of the explosion, though he does not look too good. He certainly has the look of a long-tailed cat in a room full of rocking chairs. And from what he says later at a support group for propane explosion survivors, he ain't doing too good.
Welcome to the Survivors of Propane Explosion Support Group. Let's start with Chuck.
Ever since the explosion, every song I play sounds like Feels So Good.
Maybe that's because it does feel so good to be alive.
No, that's not it.
Yep, this is the part of the video where I make you feel bad for Chuck and for laughing at his running gag, because it's not a gag, it's PTSD. It's only after the explosion that Chuck starts turning every song he plays into Feel So Good, because, you know, every song to him sounds like Feel So Good. The first instance of this occurrence happened at Buckley's funeral, with Chuck performing next to what was left of someone who died in the explosion that he survived.
This is depressing. You want to go play in the cemetery?
Okay.
It could also be theorized that by always morphing into the song he's known for, Chuck is retreating into his safety zone, especially considering that the explosion occurred at one of his performances.
How you doing, Arlen? Are you ready to soft rock?
So it's quite possible that in the back of his head the whole time he's playing anywhere is the fear that suddenly everything around him is just going to explode. We see the same type of thing on a bigger scale later, but we're gonna get to that. I do want to point out how Chuck inadvertently caused Hank to basically have a panic attack while he was blowing the spit out of his horn. And I mean that as in he was cleaning his flugel horn, not get your mind out of the gutter.
Stop it. Can't you hear the hissing? It's propane. This room's gonna blow.
Chuck sticks around Arlen after this. It's probably at this point he builds his fort as soon as Megalomart was rebuilt. And we start to see him at random places in random episodes, like as part of the audience in attendance for Bobby eating a 72-ounce steak in front of his vegetarian ex-girlfriend. Yeah, that's a king move right there. And they call it Bobby Love.
Hey, you two, I'm trying to eat.
He has a fun little interaction with Khan after Khan was fired from his fancy job, and he had to get on at a Kinko's ripoff in Deconstructing Henry.
Hey, man, I'm having a concert this Sunday. Could I put up one of my posters in your window?
Get out before I three-hole punch your face.
And it's also that interaction that helped get Khan fired from that job. Though to be fair, Khan totally deserved to get fired from that job.
How does this machine work, Mr. Khan? How do I print? How do I save? A Control S, you morons! It's always Control S!
All right, that's 3 strikes, Con. You're fired.
3? That's only 2.
I heard what you said to Mr. Mangione.
Oh, yeah.
It's also in Take Me Out of the Ball Game that we see, or I guess here would be more accurate, but whatever, Chuck doing the whole everything sounds like feels so good thing when he played the national anthem before Strickland's intramural softball game. I noticed something while editing here. Strickland is playing against a team from Megalomart, hence Chuck being there, and we see some of Hank's former co-workers, including Mark McJimsey, former owner of Just Break Drums, who apparently stayed on after the explosion. And yes, you'll notice at the end of playing here, Chuck does his classic Feel So Good album cover pose, though it's also possible that he's rather pleased with himself because he got through the anthem without switching to his comfort song, for the most part at least. Anywho, he's in the same court-ordered anger management class as Hank in the Texas Skillsaw Massacre. You know, the episode where everyone thinks Hank is too angry all the time.
Hank has always been angry. When we were in kindergarten and the other children would use the finger paints, he would pinch them.
You are a bald-faced liar.
Amen.
And we get my favorite Chuck Mangione moment when he graduates from the class and has a rather strong response to his final test.
Next up, Mr. Mangione.
Chick Mangione. I'm not a chick, I'm a dude.
Yep, love it. Play it again. Don't be down, unconscious clown. Seems to me all the teacher had to do was the avoid dance, but nope, brass instrument to the face. One does wonder how Chuck ended up in a court-appointed anger management class. Could have been something along the lines of what happened with Joe Jack at the Taco Bueno.
And things looked pretty bleak when we lost Joe Jack because of, well, we all know what happened at the Taco Bueno.
But it seems like Chuck must have had some sort of violent outburst, possibly towards Megalomart or their employees. That would make sense. And seeing as though he has no history of this type of thing prior to the explosion, I firmly believe this change in attitude is due to post-traumatic stress disorder. And that is what brings us to Megalo Dale, where Dale is hired by the manager of Megalomart, Norm Gladwell, who is voiced by Tom Arnold, to deal with a rodent infestation in the store and discovers that the true culprit is a tad bit bigger and better at musicianship than any rodent I know of. He's definitely better than those damn chipmunks, though the chipettes may give him a run for his money. But yeah, Dale figures out through detective work and a history of being bitten by a whole host of different animals that the store's issues like droppings and chewed cables are in fact caused by Chuck Mangione. And I just love the fact that Hank literally beats his head against a wall when Dale tries to convince him of it.
It's Chuck Mangione.
What?
And I'm gonna flush him out tonight.
No!
Hank gets the other guys together, and after stopping off at Dale's to gather some supplies they know that they're gonna need for handling not just the rats, but also Dale.
We need some traps for the rats and a tranquilizer gun for, Also for the rats.
They head up to Megalomart, and after splitting up to try to get the extermination job done quicker, Hank, Bill, and Boomhauer are all captured by what appears to be Chuck Mangione. But in reality, it's actually just two kids that work at the store, Chris and Corey, voiced by Topher Grace and California inmate BW7253, who were both stars of that 70s show at the time. Now, in my previous Chuck video, I was rather harsh on Topher Grace. I do still stand by my opinion that he was the worst character on the sitcom he was the main star of. However, with the benefit of hindsight, he was apparently the only normal member of that show's teenage cast. But I will concede that though his casting as Eddie Brock or Venom was terrible, it is not the worst superhero movie casting. But as far as Topher Grace is concerned, he is a rather talented and underrated actor. Anywho, with the guys captured, the employees unmasked, and Dale on the run from CNC Music Factory, Chuck swoops in and makes the save in just the nick of time. Now, granted, keep in mind that Dale was being pursued through the store by two guys who had been dressed as Chuck, and seeing another Chuck, well, to Dale, logic dictated that this had to be a fake as well.
Ouch! Watch the lip, man.
It's you.
But no, it was the real Chuck Mangione, living in his toilet paper fort within the protective confines of Arlen's Megalomart.
Your authority is not recognized in Fort Kickass.
Now, remember the whole retreating into your safe zone thing I talked about earlier? Well, that's what we've got here on a larger and much more disturbing scale. It's not just that Chuck has moved into a toilet paper fort.
So I'm not crazy. But you are.
You let a mongoose out in the store.
You're living in a toilet paper fort.
Let's agree to disagree.
It's that the fort is located in the rebuilt store whose explosion led to Chuck's downfall. In a way, this was where the new Chuck was born, and this could be seen as his way of returning to the safety of the womb. I could be reading too deep into this. No, me, not me. Can't be. Imagine that. But it's interesting that this isn't the first instance we've seen of a character hiding themselves away from the world within the confines of a toilet paper fort. We saw the exact same thing from Whack-A-Mole Bobby during Hank's varnishing without proper ventilation-fueled hallucination in Hellenium.
Bobby Mole!
I'm wearing diapers, Father.
What?
I'm going backwards. I'm a baby now. The future is bad. You said so yourself. We get that back.
No,
I like it here. It's safe and it's quilted.
I just find it interesting that they went down that road twice, and it's a weird road to go down twice. And we get Chuck's explanation for why he set down roots in his two-ply quilted bastion of reclusiveness, which I somewhat believe. I mean, he's probably telling the truth. It very much sounds like something that Megalomart would do to someone under contract. Chuck is partially to blame for not reading the fine print before putting down his John Hancock, but still, I can totally get his frustration with his current situation.
I have to be at every store opening, and they open 400 stores a year. I haven't had time to record or tour or give my old lady any slow, sweet loving in years. So I disappeared to the last place they'd ever look for me.
You chewed up the security camera wires?
It was necessary so I could come and go as I pleased.
But what about the droppings? There were droppings all over the place.
Make those megalo chumps pick 'em up. They owe me.
But I still stick by my retreating to the safety of the womb theory. It makes perfect sense given his trauma and the physical manifestation of said trauma, Arlen's Megalomart. Dale takes out the idiots, the two employees, not his three neighbors, using Chuck's advice.
Wait, every aisle has a hollow passage with openings at the discount flags. Use it.
And they end up pinning everything on the That 70s Show guys, with Dale covering up Chuck's existence in the store, leaving us with a great shot of Chuck on the roof, playing in the moonlight like a macabre flugelhorn werewolf.
What was that?
Muzak. Just Muzak.
I'm guessing he continued living there, or at least somewhere in Arlen, because he continued to pop up here and there in random places, like taking in karaoke at the Taste of Lao that we showed earlier, or playing Lucky and Luann down the aisle at the end of their wedding ceremony in Lucky's wedding suit.
Hey.
Which isn't rice.
It's birdseed, dude.
And it should be noted that he was ready to rock, though I'm not sure how he went from being over by the altar playing to standing in the alley that daggum quick, but whatever. At least this allows us to find out what Con and Men's song is.
This is a blessed day. Now who wants to rock?
Yeah, let's do it.
Hey man, it's our song!
So, Chuck Mangione, Grammy-winning musician who wrote the theme for the 1980 Winter Olympics, who eventually turned into a troubled and traumatized monarch residing within a palace of store-brand shit tickets. By the way, my guess is that he was eventually found out, most likely in the Great Toilet Paper Purge of 2020. I highly doubt he could have stayed hidden up until present day. I'm not against that. I'd love for the revival to have random moments of Chuck Mangione peeking out from behind a shelf in the background at Megalomart. Maybe they drop him as a spokesman and he ends up going crazier, who knows? His running gag of everything turning into Feel So Good could just be that, a simple gag with no deeper meaning behind it. Hell, it's quite possible that it's just a gag, but it's also possible it was his way of keeping his fear of mortality at bay. It is, after all, the song that he's most known for, and the thing that will grant him the closest thing to immortality that he can achieve, seeing as that song will survive well after he's gone. It could even be that it's a manifestation of survivor's guilt. Remember, it started at Buckley's funeral. But again, I'm probably looking too deep into it. I do want to give props to the real-life Chuck Mangione because not everybody would be cool with the arc that his character took, especially since the character is supposed to be him. We may never find out what exactly happened to Chuck, but if nothing else, we know that he likes sliced peaches, cottage cheese, and he's better at skydiving than Peggy.
Hi, I'm Chuck Mangione, and at Megalomart, our prices are falling faster than I am.
Thanks for watching, folks. We'll see y'all next time.
Sunday, and Saturday. It's the Nathaniel Dallas Mower Expo. Be there as the biggest names in mowers, hedgers, and clippers unveil the latest in grass cutting technology. Thrill to the awe-inspiring spectacle of the Snapper Precision Mowing Team. See King Mulch take on a Texas-sized pile of twigs. Over 10,000 oil paintings must be sold. Don't miss the Dallas Mower Expo. Be there!